Okay, so I knew I'd be here for a little while, and it's been a little bit over an hour, even though I'm nearly finished. So I am back, and the message that I was talking about was Kali energy and the feminine, really letting you know that it's okay for you to embrace your passionate, fiery, destructive rage. It's fine. Okay, what did I say about Venus and Taurus? Waking up and looking around and being like, what have you done with what I've created? Like, what is this? If you don't like what has been created, destroy it, is really the message here. Now, the other message, as I said, the cards are very Eurocentric, is Goddess of Sensuality here, Freya. This is saying that both our sensuality, our connection to... I'd like to spend some time actually understanding the difference between sensual energy and sexual energy. There's a lot, I think we use them quite interchangeably in this culture, but there is tapping into your sensuality, right? That physical expression of sexual energy in the body as a way to recharge, is really the energy, because the destruction, the power, the force needed to be Kali or to be the warrior, you know, it takes a lot of force. And when we're out in the world expending that energy, we need a space within ourselves where we can regenerate it. And how we do that is by embracing our sensuality. So we don't have to be hard, and we don't have to be warriors at all times and at all moments, but sensuality is how that we can tap back into our energy portals and bring our energy levels back up to the right space and replenish our power. Sensuality, I'll say I've been working on this specifically myself, through sex, through orgasm, through masturbation, charging my body, using masturbation for personal healing. It has been great. Like also because I've been overworking, and I'm working on like spirits helping me step out of that energy, because I've been overworking a lot. Sometimes when I need to serve others, I'm exhausted, and so using sex energy and masturbation to recharge and to call energetic power is a very different kind of energy where it's been working. So I know sensuality can be recharging. Then we've got Kuan Yin, goddess of nurturing here. This comes back to the message I was saying about our relationship with nature. We need to embrace our nurturing temperament itself. So the parts of it that are parts of us that are nurturing to ourselves and to others. And we need to be in physical nature. Okay. That's the balance that's required for feminine energy right now. It's to embrace nurturing of ourselves and also be there. Raf says, a bit late on sharing this, but political figures do understand the importance of spiritual work, even though they don't show it. My shaman is constantly suggesting that I do I don't know how to pronounce that. Yes, but you are not for social mobility connections, but also for spiritual growth, understanding. Yes, 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 yes. Just yes, I have nothing to add. Absolutely right. That is exactly what I'm saying here. The last message is Yeshua, white Jesus here. God of Unity is called in this deck. Now, this is, Io was in the room. I don't think he's here right now, but I was in the room earlier talking about like the need for men and women, as in terms of gender, to biological gender, to heal together and to repair those relationships. And I spoke a little bit about that, but that is kind of this closing message where I'm saying, where I was talking about us actually, we're not in a war with men, right? And the idea here is that we need to create space. We can't be self-righteous about our own level of healing, or our own level of wisdom, or our own level of worthiness, or our own sense of political correctness. And not political correct in terms of how we say things, but like of our political ideologies and our leanings. Like we can't afford to be self-righteous. We can't afford to be like, I know, and it's this and this and that. What we really need is to create collaborative space, is to create space to integrate the feminine and masculine energies, and like I said, to create space for the righteous masculine, the divine masculine to be in our lives, to be collaborating with us externally as well as internally. But I'm saying here specifically with the God of Unity, it's about external collaboration. So yes, there are men in this world, loads. I'm not even saying there's like a few, like doing very fucked up things. There's an account on Instagram called No Small Talk that I really like, and they were posting a thread from Twitter, all of these men talking about how women really hate sex, and like all the women that they've been with. It was frightening, honestly, like some very predatory shit. And I'm just like, yeah, I was like, So that's the state of the consciousness of a lot of men. But there are also men who are awakening to their divine nature and to their spirituality and healing their masculinity and integrating their femininity and doing that work. It's necessary, and they're doing that solo. They're doing that alone in wilderness, right? They don't have communities of support. They don't have compassionate communities. They don't have wise communities. They may have one person that they can go and talk to, but for the most part, the divine feminine has created this space for herself itself, which is gendered hilariously, you know, as I talk about feminine energy not being biological, not being a gendered thing, and yet those of us who primarily express through, heal through, live through the feminine energy end up creating spaces that are gendered, barred by gender. It's a problem. We can't allow the divine masculine, I'm getting tearful as I say this, it's a very spiritual energy coming through. We can't allow the divine masculine to just be wandering out in the world trying to heal solo, okay? We need to bring the divine masculine back in and to integrate. And how you do that, the discernment is energy, okay? You don't need to fuck with all men. Like, I'm not telling you to do that. You need to use energetic discernment, spiritual discernment, to see the men who belong in kind of righteous community with us. You need to. It's important. And even in terms of my Astro Mixer, that's the space that I'm trying to create. Of course, it's predominantly women in that space because women are most engaged in the healing astrology tarot space. But it's really important that we continue to allow men who are seeking a home, right? Mars, the warrior, home. Men who are seeking to come home. Space. And I say this, listen, I tend to shop in men's sections because I like androgynous aesthetics. And so, and for whatever reason, I think it's because men tend to shop less, generally speaking. The clothing quality seems to be better. I think they seem to think that women have a higher turnover of expenditure, so they give us cheap shit. So I go to men's sections, and I was in the men's section in the shop the other day, and I picked up some stuff and I wanted to try it on, and it was in the middle of the afternoon, so no one was really there. Most people were at work, and I thought, let me just go to the changing rooms in the men's section. As I was approaching the changing room, I felt physical threat. Let me tell you something. Not only were there no men in the changing room, there was no threat. There was nothing. It was a lovely environment. There was no apparent reason for me to be feeling afraid and tension in my body. What came up for me is that my fear of being vulnerable, my lack of physical safety around men, because remember, I'm going into a changing room in which I'm literally going to make myself naked. I'm going to undress, and my body was like, that's not safe. It was like alarm bells. No. I still went in and I changed and it was fine, but it was like, it really showed me how we have like conditioned ourselves necessarily into protectionism, and so we create spaces in which we don't have to be threatened. And it's real. The threat is real. I'm not pretending that it's not. But if that's now part of our nervous system, physiologically, if every time you get around a man, you know, divine or not, righteous or not, healing or not, you have the same, it's so funny. Like, Diane, Miss D. Louise just came in the room, and she was saying yesterday on her live about this idea of like not feeling safe around men. And when I was thinking about this, when I was writing my notes earlier, she was on my mind because I was thinking about what she said. And just as I'm talking about this, she comes into the room. Like, it's such a confirmation. So if your response to all men is fear and tension and threat and unsafety, you need healing. It can't be your permanent reality. It just can't. You need healing. And I say we need healing because I'm describing obviously how I felt going into that changing room, because it's no longer a logical observation of real threat in the world. It's now a physiological, biological imperative to be afraid around men. And it's not healthy. And that's what prevents the divine masculine from being integrated into our communities, because we're scared of them. Oh, that energy is hitting my heart chakra. We're afraid. So brave of you to insist that kind of instinctive thing. I needed to hear this too, and need this encouragement and this courage. Sorry. Yes, sending you so much love. And obviously, you know, many people experience sexual abuse. There are real reasons. Like I keep saying, it's not like a fantasy. I'm not trying to pretend that these threats aren't real. So I'm not encouraging you already as well to like re-traumatize yourself or to put yourself in spaces of threat because you're trying to lean into pain. For me, I logically observed the situation and saw there was no threat, and I recognized it was an energy of fear. And I was like, okay, I'm going in, you know, this is fine. It's okay for me to have that physical reaction, but I also know that I am safe here. And we need to learn that. And I'll say what I'm thinking about right now. I hope it's okay to share, Spirit. I was really, God is good. This week, I was meant to tell my friend Tamil, but I didn't get around to tell her. This week, I was thinking about, I've been thinking about the concept of virginity, and I was thinking about, quote unquote, I don't believe in giving away one's virginity. I don't even believe in those concepts. But I do believe sex is initiation. I do believe the process of having sex for the first time is an important initiation. It's an important spiritual rite of passage. And so I've been thinking about the idea of surrendering one's virginity. So I was thinking about when I surrendered my virginity, and what happened to me immediately after is I experienced, like, not immediately actually, because the sex was good, but after that experience of union, I had a spiritual attack, and it was in the form of loads of priests chasing me through a temple and attempting to rape me. And what it was speaking to, and it's been like a really important healing theme in my life, is the way that the church or religious institutions, men in churches especially, but the patriarchal religious perspective, has sought to violate, abuse, and strip the feminine of her sexuality. I'm losing my train of thought. Where am I going here, Spirit? Oh, that's it. So I was thinking about it this week, and the reason I was thinking about it is because I had a lot of painful sexual experiences before I eventually surrendered my virginity in the form of penetration. And the time that I did, right, I did it in on top position. Really interesting to me. And I did it with a partner who I'd been with for a while, and we've been trying but not able to have penetrative sex for 6 months. And it was very frustrating for me because I'm a very sensual, sexual person. I like sex and I like to engage and I like it for bonding and I'm really into it. So physiologically, my body was ready and I was responsive, but psychologically I wasn't. With a lot of blocks, a lot coming from the church especially. And so whenever it would come time, I just, like, it was really painful for me and I couldn't. It was this constant frustration. And when it was that point of surrender, you know, I've been thinking about Lilith energy, and I did a video on Lilith before, and this idea in the myth of Lilith that she doesn't want to always have sex in a submissive position with Adam, and she wants to take the position of power, and Adam doesn't let her. So she's, you know, for a number of reasons, just feels disempowered and has her sexuality denied in that relationship. So she's like, fuck Adam, like, and fuck this garden, okay? And so she's out of here. And that's kind of Lilith and Moon, the parts of us where we've had our sexuality and our power suppressed and denied, which is what happened to me in church. And so I think it's really interesting that, you know, when I eventually surrendered willingly, lovingly, in a very safe space, because I think part of the thing for me was seeing that I had a partner that for 6 months was so not pressuring around sex with me and was super patient and understanding about the process that I needed to surrender. And when that time came, it was in the Lilith position, you know, it was in that position of empowerment. It was, yeah, let me back in the room. So, I don't know why I've said that, because that's why I have to write notes, because my mind goes all over the place. In Vedic, I'm Gemini rising, so it's just like connections. But I do feel like part of that healing is healing Lilith, is healing Lilith that's felt rejected and suppressed and disempowered by the Adams in our lives, and to find sacred space for surrendering our power. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. Hey, Aisha. I've been in here for over an hour, so I'm going to see if you have any questions, any thoughts, any comments. I want to be honest, a part of me wants to read for you, but I don't think I should do cards, because I've still got Pisces and Aries to do today, and I've got clients, and I just like, should I really be expending my energy? But the Cancer in me is like, but they're here. Okay. I'll do quick one card pause, because there's not many of you in here. And we have some water. If you have a question related, let me be very specific. If you have a question related to what I've discussed today, your sexual energy, healing the divine feminine, the masculine, something on that topic, type it in the comments. I'll pull a card for you. If it's like something like, am I going to get a new job or something like that, don't ask me, because I'm not answering those kinds of questions here. While I wait for you to ask a question, or if you want to, if you feel safe to, because obviously you're typing in a public space. I'm aware of that. Spirit, thank you for speaking through me. Thank you for using me as an oracle. Thank you for the wisdom. Please help me to embody this wisdom even as I speak it. We open up the gates for healing messages for those in this room. Archangel Michael asks you to be here with a drawn sword of clarity and protection. Only messages of the highest vibration be present here. Ashe. No one's asking anything. No one wants a card? This is a first. I'll give it a couple more minutes. Diane, I say you're saying you need healing, but you're not wanting to read him? Hey, Alicia. How should we be interacting with the male energy? Yes, that's a great question. Woo! And cards fell straight out. Okay. Yes, Spirit. Oh, wow, quite a few cards. 5. Yes. Yeah, the lovers? Yes. Yes. Oh, I can feel tingles in my thighs. Okay, let me just I'll answer that question, and then I'm gonna I just want to read what's been said. Amelia says, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and since having children splitting from their dad, I felt so free and empowered to explore my sexual sensual energy more. Yes, great. A lot of what you said resonates, especially with church. To be honest, I feel like we actually need healing circles for I was going to say specifically women, but to be honest, a lot of queer people have also had their sexuality suppressed, and I was going to say perverted, but that's not really the word, diverted, whatever the words are, in church spaces. We need space to heal there. Okay, so let me start with the question, how should we be engaging with the masculine? Such a good question. I love it. First card out the deck, 6 of Wands. And I'm just going to show you bang straight, because look at how Spirit works, right? 6 of Wands, 6 of Pentacles, and then the 6th card, the Lovers. And some of you are like, 666, devil. But 6 is really the vibration, the number of love and of harmony. So the first card here, this is Jupiter in Leo. We need to, in terms of how we integrate interact with the masculine, we need to see, and when I say masculine, this means both our internal energy, but men in the world. Hey, Aziola. Our vision of success, our vision of victory, our vision of what we create and what feels good needs to incorporate them. Now, I'm not saying at the level, it does mean this, but not necessarily in this reading at the level of action and what we do. It's more that how you conceive of your world, how you conceive of what you want things to look like, your life, your business, your home, your political interventions. You need to see men as a part of that, and not in terms of needing their help to get it done. I'm not mean like, oh, go to men to get them to, get it done. It's that, what role do you see the masculine energy playing in your vision? Okay, so let's say, for example, I don't want to give you an example because, the examples that came to me were super gendered, so I'm not going to use those for now. But I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, how do you incorporate men in your vision of success? Okay, now, and what looks victorious to you, because you've got success here. So that's the first card, is how you conceptualize, right? It's fire energy. So fire is really intention, design, spiritual. It's also spirituality, and it's fast, and it's Leo. So it's passion. It's like what comes from your heart. How do you incorporate men into your passions, into your desires, into your beliefs, into what you're creating? So Amelia says, I just don't incorporate them. See, we need healing. Okay, it's the same thing with me. Why with the Astro Mixer, I'm making like deliberate intervention to try and get men there. Okay, because I have to think about, if I'm creating something that I believe will change the culture, that can't just be a space for women or non-binary people. Men need to be brought in from the wilderness. Then there's the success card. There's a reason for this. This is Pentacles energy here, and this is actually Moon in Taurus. I've been talking about Taurus energy. The Moon is exalted in Taurus, so this is like real expression of wealth and abundance. The abundance that we're looking for in terms of success, in terms of what we build and do in the world, is a joint venture. The message here is that there are men, there are masculine energies. Yes, Spirit, come through. There are masculine energies that will support you. You don't, if I could say hallelujah right now, you don't even know how I feel about these messages. There are men, there are masculine energies who want to get behind your vision. They want to support your vision. They want to give their energy, their resources, their time to it. Feminine women, they want to get behind it. But you are so busy feeling like it's not a space for them. I'll do it by myself, or I'll only work with women. Hands up, because listen, when it comes to an intern, God knows, I was like, it will be a woman, okay? Or a non-binary person, but it was never going to be a man. So we need to receive the support, the resources, the protection, the everything. We need to receive all of that from men in our lives, because there are men who want to champion us, and there are men who want to take us to that next level, and we don't even conceptualize it. Then when we're able to do that, bam, 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 the Lovers card. Integration, union, marriage of divine masculine and feminine. Now this is spiritual, but it's also physical. Do you know what this will do? It will heal our relationships. I say this all the time, but I can't take Twitter. Twitter's too loud for me. But the conversations that are that we're having online, particularly, especially about men being incapable of loving, incapable of feeling, and all the rejection, the abandonment, the fear, the wounding. And I am part of this community. I woke up this morning after having a dream about my wounds around rejection from masculine energy. So I'm with you. I'm just actively working to heal it. But the conversations that we're having are really redundant, and I keep saying, if we can't have intimate sexual love with men, okay, those of us who want to, the place to begin healing that is not sex. It's not by trying relationships and having sex with them. It's by having platonic relationships with them. It's by beginning with the most profound love relationship that we ever really experience, which is friendship. Listen, friendship is such a profound space of love, and we need to cultivate and build spaces of friendship with men. Okay, that's how we experience it. So again, conceiving of how they can be part of our communities, our visions, our projects, our plans, and then working with them, allowing ourselves to be supported, is how we heal some of those dynamics, so that there is space for physical union, there is space for relationships and marriages. Okay, and that is the same even if you don't want to be sexual with a man. If you don't want to be in a sexual relationship with a man, that Lover's card still applies to you, because what it does is it gives you spiritual unity. Okay, and you need to experience God's love through the male body as much as anybody else, even if it's not sexual and intimate. You need the healing of that. I've seen loads and loads and loads of comments. Let me just finish this message and then I'll read them. The next message is, the question was, how do we interact with men, I think, masculine energy. You got the Devil card here. So sixes are very present. Remembering that the Devil is really the shadow archetype of the Lover's here. We got the Devil card, and then we've got the Two of Pentacles. When I said sixes are really present, it's numerology. It reduces to a 6. And we've got the Two of Pentacles change. What do we see? Snake. Spirit speaks with one voice. Scorpio energy, even though it's an earth sign. For those of you who just come into the room, there was a channeled message from like Oshimario earlier in the reading. Okay, so the snake energy, Scorpio energy, transformation. We can create, how we engage with the masculine is by binding yin yang. Okay, binding ourselves. This is merging, internal merging, and external merging, coming together to change. This card is called the patriarchy, the existing destructive structure, the devil energy in our society. Okay, so some of us, the message Spirit keeps giving me is that we keep dealing with things on a mundane level. We keep thinking, oh, you know, I just really want this money, or I really want this relationship, and we don't understand the spiritual implications of what we're called to do. Hello, phone. Are we gonna, there we go. So the message here is that part of the reason we need to heal our masculine feminine relationships, and why we need to have, find spaces for unity and connection with people in male bodies / men, is because that is part of the spiritual work. It's about transforming the existing structures, and that's what it's primarily about here. Or has, as they say in New Age or light worker communities, ascension. All right, I'm going to scroll up because you were leaving comments and I want to engage. Oh, Mel's is in the room. Hey, Mel's. The man is my father. He's the only man I take things from. Start there and heal there, because Spirit wants to bless you broader than that. Do you know what I mean? But I understand that we don't feel safe in many spaces, and I often ask for more time in order to heal certain things. So start with masculine energy you can trust. Aisha says, drag me. My Taurus side is inclined to say maybe it's time to see the power of raw yang energy that is beyond even the masculine boundary. We need to stop defining people in terms of their gender performance. 100 Oops, what am I doing? 100% to that. And then you saw that the yin yang signs came out in the reading. So that is the message. It is the message. Dealing with yang energy is internal. Okay, it's the internal masculine, but it's also the external, the physical expression. What else do we have? Perhaps not defined, but not like limiting them to those boxes. Agreed. They really can't deliver though when it comes to the intimacy needed for friendship. I'm going to be honest with you, because as soon as I read that message from you, what happened was I had like a heart chakra block, like a concrete slate come up, and it's like, this is really how it works. And this is, I don't think you were in the earlier part, so I think this is going to be a whole 2-hour live now. In the first hour of my live, I was talking about this and talking about the need to integrate righteous masculinity, and the fact that we're not in a gender war, right? We're not warring against men, or the concept that men can't do intimacy and friendship, but we're using discernment by energy. Okay, so yes, there are loads of men that's true for. Don't fuck with them. Do you know what I mean? That's not your kin. That's not your team. Okay, that's not your energetic vibration. Those are not your people. But the more that if you focus on that, literally when I read your thing, it was like a wall. You can't receive if you believe it's not possible. It is possible. Let me tell you something. And I'm going to give you an anecdote. I have several men in my life. I'm going to shout out a couple of them. And don't be mad if you're watching this and I didn't say your name. But I want to shout out Simeon, the Leo. And I want to shout out Nathan, the Cancer. And I want to shout out me, the Scorpio. I want to shout out those three particularly because they have provided me so much love and intimacy through friendship. And there's never been any sexual relationship with any of these people. So we can receive it. But we need the energetic wisdom and the spiritual discernment to open ourselves up to divine masculine and righteous masculinity. And as long as we are only focused on those who are spiritually unawakened, to be honest, and are unwilling to heal, stretch, or grow themselves, then we will constantly feel wounded by that mirror. Okay, because remember, all of that energy is also in us. Okay, so I don't mean to chastise you, that's not what I'm trying to say, but I'm like, it's a useless perspective for you to have that. The men are trash even as a concept. It's so useless and it's not regenerative. Loads of men are trash, but you're not a dustbin, so that has nothing to do with you. Okay, it's nothing to do with you. If you live in a palace, the dustbin is just not, it's just, you don't get involved in that. Okay, so you need to find your masculine expressions of royalty, and the first place that you begin with that is healing. Right, as I said, I woke up this morning with a dream about how I feel wounded and rejected by masculine energy, so working on healing that, so that that's not a constant energetic barrier that you're sending out. Your energy is constantly saying, men have hurt me, men have wounded me, men are unsafe. For those of you who just come into the room, make sure, I don't even remember what part it was, but I was talking about the experience I had going into men's changing room. Okay, physiologically sending that signal out. We want to heal that, and then we want to pray, as the message was earlier, spiritual guide. We want to pray to be led towards men, because what did I say? There are divine men, there are righteous men who are wandering around in the wilderness alone, and you can't find them because they don't belong to communities. And so we need to integrate them into our community so that they can be located and found, and you can receive the love, the intimacy, the friendship, the connection that you deserve and that is available to you. Okay, Virgo moment finished. Adiola said this message is dragging me and I hadn't even gotten started yet. Okay. Yeah, so Adiola, when you said that, I think we can incorporate the divine masculine energy in women too, I discussed that in like the first hour of the live, of the other live, because this is the whole second live because I've been here so long. Okay. A whole word. Love you, Mels. Yup, that's me. This is definitely true. Okay. I'm going to do Diane's question, and for those of you who want, I'm answering questions around masculine energy, sexual energy, anything on this particular topic. The topic has been, I didn't leave it in the first part of the live. So in the first hour, I was saying that the topic I've been talking about is tax on feminine energy from a political, on the political sphere. That's what that's all about. So if you've got questions around that, for those of you who went in there might not know, I'll do 2 more cards for people. Mels, I especially feel like if you want a message, you can get one. Because I was also saying in the first part how important I think non-binary trans identity is to this particular realm of healing, and bringing this new paradigm in. Miss D says, my views of men is almost like trying to cook an egg with a frying pan and using your hand to flip it over. Burn, scold. Yeah, we need healing, because like I keep saying, that's real, that's happened. All right, Miss D, you had a question for me. How can you open the road to healing? I believe your question was. Okay. So I felt really called to, for you, Diane, Yemaya was like very present, and you need to work with the mother energy. I know you are a mother, but you need to receive spiritual mothering. You need to receive the energy of Yemaya for yourself, to nurture you and to restore you and to heal you. I would say, well, actually, what I was going to say is wrong. I'll come back to that. Oh, what I've said so far is right. I was going to say something about masculine energy, but they just said to me, no, girl. So let me let me say it properly. The Three of Swords is here, heartbreak, pain. This is particularly on a mental level for you. So it's a lot about how you're thinking that's keeping this sword lodged in your heart. So you are in a space of like heartbreak and pain, but the thing that you need to do is acknowledge it. So you don't need to push for change right now. You need to, I said this in the earlier part of the reading, I'm just going to find the card where in the first half I think I said storyteller. You need to talk about what's happened to you. You need to talk about what's put this sword here. You need to talk it out, because right now it's just repeating and looping in your mind. It's going to bring healing if you can communicate, but you need to communicate the reality of this feeling for you. You don't need to pretend it's not happening. You need space to sit in it and to acknowledge what it has been like to have felt wounded and broken in this way. But you also have the Sun card. Now, I was going to say to you that for you specifically, because I've been talking to people about integrating or engaging with male/masculine energy, I was going to say for you that it's not safe for you yet and that you shouldn't, but then they said to me that's not true. And then I looked down and you had the Sun card, which is masculine. So one of the healing things for you, Diane, I know you just said that you started seeing a therapist. It could be very healing for you to see a male therapist. I would say I did that at a certain point in my life, particularly when I was very wounded by my relationship with my dad. I saw a black man, and that was very profound. So it might be very healing for you to see a male therapist. But the message of the Sun card for you is that you need to replace your current thoughts with optimism. I know it sounds hard, but they are like you have a negative, pessimistic outlook right now, and all it can do is what I said about sending that vibration. You know, when I said I felt that slate of concrete come up, it's like they're saying you can't bring in the healing, the growth, and it's healing for your inner child specifically that's been wounded. You can't bring that healing in as long as your mind is literally sending out the signals of I'm not safe, I've been hurt, men will abuse me. Like, as long as it's in that. And it's not about therefore going, oh, I'm safe. Oh, do you know what I mean? There'll never be any danger. Okay, it's not doing that. But it's what I said about my incident in the changing room, where it's like the masculine Sun energy here is like, it's the logical, rational observation, you know, it's things in the light. So it's being able to feel the physical experiences of threat or unsafety and to logically look around and assess, am I unsafe in this situation? Because if you're not, then you can tell your inner child, your physiology, your physical body, we are okay here. And that's what you need. Okay? Hopefully that helps you. Let me scroll up and see if I missed any messages. I wish we all knew how to hold better space for each other for these kinds of possibly nourishing friendships. We're going to, this the work that we're doing now. We're on the threshold of doing that work, so we might not know it, but we can learn it, okay? And as I said, because we've been so disconnected from ancient ancestral and from our cultural practices, some of which are very patriarchal, let's keep it 100, so they don't have all the wisdom. I'm not going to pretend like everything from the past was wonderful, but if we can repair our ancestral connection, then because they've experienced the destruction, they've experienced something else, and they exist outside, above this physical plane, they have wisdom to give to us. So much of what I've said to you today is, yeah, one, because I'm an academic and I know how to understand theory and to piece pieces together, but so much of it was through the energies, through Orisha energies, really, of Elegua and Oshamare. And really, because my thing this morning when I was thinking about this and when I had the dream is, let me go talk to my ancestors about it. And then they were like, bam, 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 bam. And I was like, okay, I need to go and externalize this message. It's not just for me. Okay, so it's possible. I'm not binary and have no cis men in my life that I'm not related to. I feel like I need to make peace with my own masculinity before I can begin to do this work you're presenting to us here. Any tips? Let me pull cards on that. What I'll say to you is, I said this earlier around when I was talking about my experience in the men's changing room, is about not pushing yourselves into spaces of trauma, not doing quote unquote healing work before you're actually ready to do it. Your intuition, your sense of yourself in your own body is the key. You know the pace you should heal at. You know, and this is the thing. I want to do a separate video on like spiritual maturity, intuition, and how you should listen to spiritual messages and intuitive and tarot messages and all of that. Because I could tell you today, right, with all of my passion and all of my intention and all of my sense that I'm connected to spirit, to do something that within yourself you're like, nah, I got the reverse advice. Do you know what I mean? Spirit told me, stay the fuck away from men. Okay? If that's the truth, that's what you do. You don't come here and be like, now that she said this, you're conflicted with your internal message. But I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video, because it's, you know, something that's been coming up from me about how we give our power away when we go to quote unquote spiritual teachers. Let me pull some cards around cisgendered men for you, and whether on, you know, what you should be doing around the peace that you're kind of looking for. Oh, first card. Yeah. Bang out of the deck, the High Priestess, intuition. So what I just said is relevant specifically to you. The message here is your intuition will tell you when you're ready. Okay, you don't need to rush that process. Not only will it tell you when you're ready, but it's what I said about energetic discernment. Not all skin folk are your kinfolk. Not all men are safe to be around. Facts, okay? And it's gonna, what it's saying to you is use your intuition to see when it's ready, when you're ready to open up and heal and invite those relationships. But also use your intuition to know who, okay? It's not just any cisgendered man that you come across. You're like, oh, I think I'm ready to heal now. And so you just like, you know, you meet someone and you're like, okay, I'll be friends with them. No, that's reckless. Okay, people are wild out here. So you use your intuition to, and you pray for it. You know, you pray and you say, Spirit, if this is a part of my life I want to be open to, if this is a healing path that I think I could go down, if I think this could be regenerative and restorative and progressive for me to have relationships with cisgendered men, please bring me to someone in the space of righteous masculinity. Please bring me to someone that is not going to harm and wound me. Okay, you can ask for that, and then you can receive your guidance about how to get there. Okay, I'll do one more tarot reading. Okay, how can transmasculine people like me navigate in a way that doesn't harm women? The presence alone of a male presenting, yes, person can be a trigger. It really can. I was saying this earlier around how for me it's become, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more than I'll pull for you, Mels. It's become so ingrained in me. I feel tearful about it because like there was a time when I was staying with my sister and there were men in the house. There wasn't a lock on the door, so I put like my suitcase by the door because I just didn't feel safe. There's a thing that I was saying around, there's no actual threat, like those men weren't presenting a threat to me, but literally just being in physical space with them was enough. And so it really can be a trigger. And that's why I'm saying, when I'm saying all this stuff about righteous masculinity and integrating men back into our communities, I'm not saying it as like not recognizing the wound and the trauma and the violence that's been done, but it doesn't mean that the healing work isn't necessary. Okay so let me go back to your question. How can transmasculine people like me navigate in a way that doesn't harm women? I just need to put back an energetic boundary. Spirit, I empty myself, I come back to this space of equilibrium. Hold space for both my masculine and my feminine energy. I ask for ancestral wisdom. I'm not answering this question. Bang. I love this work, you know, and I feel like right now I'm so in love with spirit because I feel like the wisdom is just coming. It's just coming. Let me just pull one more card. Is there any expansion on this message? Is there any... Oops, okay, further truth. Yes, beautiful. Okay, so Mels, this is for you and other transmasculine people. The first message is virtue, and it's really what I've been talking about. It's a term I've used, but I haven't theorized and I haven't explained or expressed to people what I mean by it. But it's the righteous masculinity I'm talking about, and there's a reason you get a card that's called virtue. You need to physically show up even when it's triggering, you know, even when for people like me it feels unsafe. Because like I said, we have to learn the distinction between when there's a real threat and when it's a now biological imperative where we feel, you know, flight or fight mode. You need to show up and you need to express. This is Sun in Aries, right? So this is all about encouraging you to express your identity, okay? Continue to express your identity. Continue to show up as a virtuous person. That's what's going to bring the healing. Your immediate presence may be triggering. It may even be unwelcome. But what will happen is your ultimate, the virtue of your spirit, your spiritual integrity, your masculine righteousness will bring healing, and it will create spaces of surrender, relaxation, and safety. Okay, so you need to continue to show up. Now, if for you especially, some of the spaces that you'll be showing up won't just be physical spaces, so being physically around people, but it will be in the digital space, right? So it'll be through use of social media. So it's about showing yourself, showing your journey as you have been, showing your identity, because what it will do is it will create a safe barrier for people to engage with your masculinity without feeling physically threatened by it. Okay, so keep expressing. And then the other card was Prince of Cups here. This is, again, Scorpio energy has been so significant to the 2 hours of talking that I've done today. This is Scorpio energy. Prince of Cups is saying, as you're transmasculine, as you embrace and express masculine identity, don't allow any external projections to make you leave behind the water energy, leave behind the emotional energy, the emotional sensitivity, the intuition, your Cancer energy, for example. It's saying also use that to drive you forward. Also use that as part of your external presentation. So you know, like how this week or recently you've been sharing a lot of stories around like cancers and what it means to be a Cancer. It's saying also continue to express what is a feminine energetic archetype. Cancer is feminine energy. Also continue to express that through the representation of masculine energy, because this is a masculine figure, Prince, moving through the realm of emotion. The eagle hair is higher wisdom, higher perspective. You have higher wisdom, higher perspective to give. I hope that's been really helpful to you. Let me see what else has been said here. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I was asking more about connecting with my own masculinity as a non-binary person, but I think intuition and high priestess still apply. Thank you, Leona. Sorry that I misunderstood your question. Oops. I hear, feel, and understand the situation fully. Thank you, Amelia. It could be so difficult to stay open. Thank you for the advice of praying. I want to learn how to connect with intuition better like that. Love you too, Mouse. Love you, Alicia. Love you, Adelaide. Love you, everybody. Diane, listen, this Tower of Orisha decks, I have a few decks that are kind of based on kind of African spirituality, but of the ones I've experienced, this is my third one. This is the best one I've had, and the connection was really easy and the communication has been dope. Thank you. You're welcome, Mouse. Okay, so I'm glad. I should probably call it a day. Like, truth be told, I've got enough passion to keep going, but this is like my pattern of burnout, and I do I've got other forms of service and work I should do today, so I should do you know what it is? I'm enjoying this form of connection, and so I want to stay connected to it, but I need to have healthy boundaries. So I am going to round this live up. I'm really grateful to everyone who was in the first hour, everyone who's been here today in this part, for the questions you've asked me. You know, I was saying this to Alicia who's in the room. I am an academic. I am a thinking person, and sometimes I find it really hard to exist in the spiritual space and to do work that particularly tarot work, that's so personally involved. Like, love yourself, heal yourself, you can do better. Like, I really do. I'm just like, man, it just doesn't go far enough in my opinion. And I feel like the questions that you've asked me today, and the conversations that we've had, have allowed me to better integrate my identity and my energies, and to use this work for more than personal empowerment, because I do think personal empowerment is important, but ultimately we've got to do some systemic broad wide scale healing. Amelia says same, academic problems. Okay, so I love you all. Mwah. Thank you so much for being here. I will post these lives. I'll probably upload them to YouTube so you can just watch them in a little bit more comfort. Appreciate you offering your energy here. Aries and Pisces, I'm probably going to do your reading today, a little bit after this. See you all super soon.